just felt the need to make this video at this specific time because it seemed like the right time to make it. So here we go. As you all know, I am a Scorpio. I'm a Scorpion. If you want to put an animal, if you want to relate an animal to me. And there is one key characteristic to a Scorpio or a Scorpion that is the most dangerous, perhaps, and is also the most the one thing you need to know about Scorpios. The one thing you should know before you get involved with any of them. And that is because we are so we're so obsessive. Not obsessive really to the point. I mean, I wouldn't use the word obsessive, but because we are so possessive, I guess you should say, and emotional about the things that, or the people that we really hold to a standard, I guess, for ourselves if we want to possess them as an individual. And the one thing about a Scorpion is that they can go through hell and back as many times as they want. I mean, as many times as they have to. But everybody knows that there's one thing that always stands true for a Scorpion, and that is that they are the best sign in the zodiac. And therefore they deserve exactly what it is that the universe or fate has in store for them. And somehow the cosmos knows that they are very that they do inherit these traits that make them a Scorpio. And because of that, they are automatically drawn to certain things, whatever type of Scorpion they are. Like, they don't have to exactly have my particular style, if you will, or soul, but they do have, all of them do have the same general traits, and one in specific is that fate has a serious impact to how they view people, and because death is one of the main centers of focus for them as people. And basically, if you find yourself drawn to a Scorpio because you're attracted to them, you have to know what you're getting involved in. Because it's not like you can just be attracted to a Scorpio. That doesn't work. They know they can easily get people to be attracted to them if they want to. And even if they can't, they know that they already have it. They already have the Scorpion traits anyways, so they basically see people as who gives a fuck because they know they got what the Scorpion has. And so I don't know the answers to fate or to what is in store after this life is over. But I do know that whether you're a Scorpio with Down syndrome, or you're a Scorpio with OCD, or you're a Scorpio with no success, or a Scorpio, I mean, it's hard to be a Scorpio with no success, but at least minimal success. It doesn't matter because we all hold the exact same traits about us. And if you want to be a Scorpio's soulmate, in a sense, you have to understand that they can change their soulmates. They won't have just one soulmate their whole lifetime. They can change that. You can change that if you want to be a Scorpio's soulmate. And so, once you do a Scorpio wrong, they don't forgive you, ever. And they have a view of death in the afterlife, or anything that you could hold as something like spiritual or occult or magical. They hold those things very close to them. And when you mess with these things about them, you're messing with fate. You're messing with the doors that can easily be opened and closed within their psyches. So just know that whenever you're getting involved with one. Maybe you fall in love with one, or you play games with one, and you act like you're falling in love with, or I mean, you don't act like you're falling in love with them, but you really are, but you try to like make it seem like you're not, or you aren't into them at all and you're just using them. Either way, they can see right through. They're their own gods. And they want, I mean, some of them, not all of them, want to actually be gods in a sense, because they feel that they have the potential to basically overpower people, because it's just inside of them to be intense like that. They dominate in a lot of situations, even if it's very subtle. And unlike any other sign, they really don't forgive. If you change the way they perceive you, that's basically for good. You change the way they perceive you. They have a view of you, a picture of you in so-called like a box. they have an image that they instantly perceive of someone, and they can actually see the inside of the individuals as well, not just the outside. They can see through eyes, they can see through just about any sort of spiritual kind of attribute you could give a person. And they know that there are such things as catalysts involved to people, humanity, and the world at large. So they do go through life open to those types of things. But just in case there is no catalyst, or just in case there is no supernatural kind of forces that don't actually happen before one's fate is decided, then you are really in a dangerous position if you see a Scorpio as someone that you really do want to be with in the afterlife, or perhaps in whatever kind of fate the universe has in store for the Scorpio. And not to say there are other signs. I mean, I'm not saying that Scorpios are better than all the other signs. I mean, if you don't know any better, it won't even matter to you to begin with. So so for example, Libras may have a lot of things going for them in this life, in the physical life. They may have a lot of success, they may have a lot of brain power, but once they see that a Scorpio is more powerful than them in certain ways, or more intelligent than them, or deeper than them, they feel threatened. Not the more evolved Libras, but, and same with all the rest of the signs, because Scorpio is a threatening sign to, I mean, they're just a threatening sign. I mean, once you know that a Scorpio is alive in your little world that you live in, once you bring a Scorpio into that little world, or you have, I mean, if it's casual, that's one thing, but if it's not casual, you pretty much are dealing with a dangerous situation, because we just have that kind of voice, soul voice, the voice of our souls, are somewhat of a threat. And Aquarians I've only dealt with mainly Aquarius people, and yes, I do love Aquarius people. They ring a bell of truth into my ear, and I definitely don't disagree with it. But a lot of times Scorpios because they are concerned with things like the occult and death and fate and deeper things than the Aquarius is. You're also dealing with a person that's not really compatible with you if you're an Aquarius. Even though in the physical world, Scorpios love Aquarius people because Scorpios are prone to jealousy, they're prone to anger, they're prone to violence in a sense. And Aquarians are pretty much the only sign that can really deal with that. And the only sign that knows that in this physical life, Scorpios actually love the truth, and Aquarians are usually able to bring them the truth even when it hurts really bad, because there's nothing Scorpios don't like. I mean, there's nothing that threatens Scorpios more than the ugly truth, because they want to avoid that. They love beauty, they love spirit, they love the occult, they love things that are very otherworldly that Aquarians are not given that kind of knack for in the physical world, and it's not useful for Scorpions to use that, really, besides if they are given the power to do so, which is a threat to the physical world we live in. Therefore, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of Scorpions are in jail, or they're in psych wards, or they're possibly homeless or something, or very big successes as well, because technically they want to be given what they want more than anything. And they notice that it changes because of finding out things about a person through just telepathic kinds of powers and things like this. And so I truly believe that the only people that Scorpios will really relate to are other Scorpios, and it's dangerous to be around another Scorpio anyways, so I don't expect myself to be in a relationship with another Scorpio in the physical world. Perhaps in the afterlife or something like that, but it's just too powerful of a combination on a psychic level, and so I don't think that would ever happen. But regardless, you're messing with the economy. You mess with the economy, and you mess with forces that are not really concerned with the cosmos and planetary alignments and systems that relate to people's mental faculties when you're living in the secular world, which the cosmos doesn't affect. It's not concerned with being focused on in places like Wall Street or these places that deal with things that don't really reflect well to the purity of and the power of forces that are much greater than economic ones or capitalism and stuff like that. So you wonder why the world is kind of out of alignment when you can't have your cake and eat it too, kind of thing. I mean, for example, it's just not natural in this world we're living in to have your cake and eat it too. Because you want everything that you want, but you can't have everything that you want in the physical realm, and then have everything you want in the spiritual realm as well. In a sense, it just doesn't work that way, because you're putting water with air, and you're joining forces that aren't really compatible. So you can't, you want that, but then save that for the afterlife, or save that for the next life or something else. But for sure, I know that in a great way, you cannot have your cake and eat it too, unless you're willing to sacrifice something. And so, when you're dealing with a Scorpio woman or man, you have to know that they really do have a little tail, a little stinger, because they don't deal with psychological and spiritual things like other signs perhaps would. They go about it in a very intense way. It affects them in a very intense way. You can do one small thing wrong to a Scorpio, and all of a sudden, they will go into withdrawal states, or they will just basically live in a cave, in a sense, and they don't want, if one person hurts them, then they perceive that as like a threat that other people will, and it just trickles and trickles. I mean, it just goes down the list. They don't once they see that there's a person out there that has characteristics that they admire, and they see something that really fits the mold to what they feel like they deserve, being a Scorpio, even if it's not right, they'll perceive it as right because they think that they're the best of the zodiacs, and they think that who are they to say that I can't have this, because I am this. And this is what I see as right, and nobody is going to tell me otherwise until I find out for myself. So once they do find out for themselves, then it's time to move on. But as long as that person isn't contacting them in the physical way, then things can still change for that other person that they're mentally involved with, let's just say. So it's really good for people that are perhaps interested in a Scorpio, but they don't want to become physically involved with one, because they know that that can lead to consequences if they're smart. And they might wait 4 or 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, whatever, however long it takes for the Scorpio to become more evolved within themselves and grow up and those kinds of things, until they know it's safe for them to be involved with like a water sign or a scorpion or what have you. Because, you're dealing with fate. You're dealing with something way more serious than just a physical interaction. So that's what I think. And that's what I have to say about Scorpion people. So what's done is always done with them. There's basically no turning back, even if you think they're piles of shit. They know they're not, even when they act like they are. You're dealing with someone who just puts themselves on a pedestal because they really feel like they should, because of who they are and related to the cosmos. Nothing phases them. Alright, that's all I have to say, and have a good day.